Welcome you all students. Today we are going to talk about is linguistics a science? This is a definite question from the students after learning about what is linguistics or introduction to linguistics subject or the term linguistics. This is our lecture number 2 in this our lecture series program. We already have conducted one lecture and that was obviously what is linguistics. In Introduction to Linguistics Part 1, those students who have been studying English Code 102 subjects. So without a further go, let's begin our today's topic. Is linguistics a science? Here is we are going to talk about the definition of linguistics. Linguistics is that science which studies the region, organization, nature, and development of language, descriptively, historically, comparatively, and explicitly. It formulates the general rules related to language. When we say linguistics is that science in which we study the origin or historical study of language, organization of language, how language is organized, and what is the organization of that language, and nature, what is the nature of language, development of language, how language developed, descriptively, how it has been used, historically, what is the history of that language, comparatively and explicitly. Mean to say, we are comparing the language, one language to another language. In this regard, after looking into or keeping in view these all aspects of language, we formulate the general rules in language. And that exactly is, we are saying linguistics is a science. Here is something more which we are going to talk about in linguistics, and that is, let's talk about first that what is science. When we are saying is linguistics a science, we must understand what is science. The intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of physical and natural world through observation and experiment, according to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. So according to this dictionary, whatever we are doing, observing and making experiments in the physical and the natural world, that is exactly the sciences. Here, another question, we are going to solve it, and that is scientific method. This is the certain scientific method that we study in science, and that is observation, question, hypothesis, certainly, and then experiments, conclusion, and result. So, this is exactly the method of science. Let's make another conclusion. Scientific method, when we are saying observation, exactly we are observing in language. Questions, we are coming up with questions. Hypothesis, we must understand that what is hypothesis in science. Hypothesis is actually a supposition or proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. So, for the further investigations, we make a supposition, a supposed explanation. So, that is exactly the hypothesis or an intellectual guesswork. That is also known as hypothesis. Here, experiment, we are making conclusion, and then here is the result. So, when we say this is all about the science, linguistics, we study exactly the same way. We are putting observation and making questions, hypothesis, testing, verification, results. Suppose we are making phonemes of any language without observation of the particular sound units, we cannot make phonemes. We are certainly on the way making so many questions. We are making an intelligent guesswork, that is hypothesis, testing. We are exactly observing the same thing, the verification. We are again verifying the results, and then at the end, results. So, in this way, linguistics is a science. Linguistics is as inductive as a science. What is inductive? Here is a question out of this line, characterized by the inference of general laws from particular instances. It means to say, if there happens any instance, we are making the conclusion as the scientific theory or rule. So linguistics is as inductive as science could be and is based on observations, formation of hypotheses, testing, verification, and predictiveness. Like a scientific linguist observes his data, some of his methods of observations includes. So here are certain methods of observations in linguistics: listening, phonetics, transcription, and the use of various instruments such as oscillograph, records, and cassettes are made in these ways. A linguist has his language laboratory too. So when we are talking about linguistics is exactly the science, so we must know a linguist must have a laboratory. In the laboratory, he makes so many experiments and guesswork. So this is how we say that linguistics is a science. Here is the conclusion of his linguistics as science. Finally, the closeness of linguistics with other natural sciences like mathematics, physics, physiology, biology, zoology, etc., is another proof of its scientific nature. It touches on physics through acoustics. So, when we are talking about physics, certainly there is a study of acoustics, a study of a waves transmission. In linguistics, we study about the waves of sound. So there is similarities between physics and linguistics. On the physiological or physiology, the nature, the structure of human vocal organs. On zoology, so certainly in zoology we study the vocal organs, we study the organs of human beings. In linguistics, in the same way we study the vocal organs, speech organs, scientifically. Certainly, we observe those organs of speech through the comparative study of the communicative systems of living beings. In this way, from beginning to the conclusion, we are going to make this conclusion that linguistics exactly is a science. As exactly we apply the same method in science, we are applying in linguistics. Thanks for attention. Thank you very much. Hopefully, students, this would have been very helping for all of you.